Now I've recently become a pretty big YouTuber, and due to my immense popularity, I decided to spend a month, on and off, making a project in Unity with my friend, as we learn the Unity engine as well as how to code in C#. For those who are not aware, Unity is a very popular game creation tool, which uses the coding language called C# as a base. Using this engine, this is the game me and my friend made in the past month. Essentially, we took the arcade game called Pop the Lock and made an idle game out of it. In case you don't know, Pop the Lock is an incredibly simple arcade game. You have a little spinny thingy that I named the ticker. If you wait and line up the ticker on the orb, when you click, you'll get some points. Not only that, but the speed that the ticker rotates around the lock will increase, and the orb will be moved so you can repeat the cycle again. Yeah, that's literally everything to know about the arcade game. It's incredibly simple. So you might be wondering, why I decided to make such a simple game into an idle game. The short version is, because I'm new to game making and I needed something simple. And the longer version is a bit of a story. You see, I'm new to making games in Unity, but that was not my only reason behind making this game. This story starts about 1 month ago. Once upon a time, I had just sat down on my computer and I wanted to make something that I could put on my YouTube channel. I knew I'd be releasing a video announcing my return to YouTube in a few days, so I needed something I could work on and eventually upload to this channel. After much thought, I settled on the genre of idle game, which is simple, yet can also be expanded quite far. Idle games were perfect because I was not the best at using Unity when I started the project, and I wanted something simple, yet fun. So once I had this idea for an idle game, I started out making the basics and bare-bones setup of the game. It was around this time that my friend BPM2007 joined me in making the game. From then, we went on to make upgrades to money generation, menus and menu navigation, and the beginning of the first reset tier. For those who don't know, reset tiers are just a way of identifying how much stuff of yours will be reset when you restart. You see, a popular trope in idle games is a thing called a prestige or an ascend or something similar, which makes you lose all of your progress before them, but gain powerful upgrades in exchange that make you generate money faster or make you more powerful or whatever. It's an idle game, it can be whatever. For our idle game, we decided to name it Rebirthing, as a tribute to old idle games that me and my friend used to play in Roblox. Sadly, it is now around this time that my friend had to leave for a family trip of his, meaning from now on, most of everything was made by me, including the arcade game. However, when we first started, we had no idea it would be about locks. In fact, I originally wanted it to be about digging dirt. A little behind-the-scenes secret here, that's why a lot of the buttons in the Unity editor say trowel. The story behind why I chose Pop the Lock goes as follows. While I was just living my life, I happened to be thinking about minigames or some sort of activity to put in the idle game. I wanted something that would be fairly simple and easy to understand, yet one that could be expanded far and would be fun to play. After much thought, I had ran through many arcade games. Pac-Man, Claw Machine, Plinko, even those coin-pushing games that felt like they belonged at a casino. But after going through these many games, I had thought of something. A simple yet fun arcade game I had played years ago, and from then on, I was set on it. I would make an idle game, based on Pop the Lock. I worked tirelessly through fire, blizzards, hurricanes, tornadoes, all for this arcade game. I worked for a total of 2 hours. Even now, I'm not sure how I survived. After a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I got this game set up and working, and I had a functioning clone of Pop the Lock. Now that I had created the best and most original game of all time, I simply needed to rename it to make the copyright people alright with my game because of how original and not stolen it was. My next goal was to start making the idle part of the game and all of the complex systems for it. This is around the time I released the video on my return to YouTube, and with that, I created a sort of very small video clip to demonstrate what I had made at that point in time. Hi, so this is one day after I made the I'm Back video, and I just wanted to kind of show off what I've got so far in this little game that I've been working on. Yay. So, to start, we have, like, you know, your usual lockpick. In this is, like, Pop the Lock, if you've ever played the, Pop the Lock arcade game. Which, in case you haven't, it's this. It's literally this. It doesn't look the best right now. Like, the animations or anything, there aren't any. That's because I gotta add those. Yeah, so this game is quite interesting. there's like, you can buy stuff, you can buy stuff, there's this thing, I mean, you can see it's kind of bugged. I haven't gotten very far, although the rebirthing actually does work. This is actually, heavily inspired by kind of like Roblox games, if that makes sense, with like, with rebirthing and prestiging. I know it's kind of weird, but I kind of like really like this kind of like style. And then in the prestige thing, this is very, very not right. I mean, these all say rebirthing. This is the rebirth upgrades, that says rebirth, that's rebirth tokens. It's not... I literally, like, just created this menu, so it is nowhere near complete. But yeah, in the rebirth menu over here, we got, like, actual stuff here that relates to cool things. These green ones will not be here in the final game. Those are just kind of like placeholders. And then these are like the actual things you can buy for money, work over your hard-earned money, and then you'll get cool prizes, like more money. Currently, if you get a streak going in this, you can get bonus money. But that was the more simple stuff. Now I had to figure out what kind of complex stuff needed to be made. By now, we already had a reset tier based on other popular idle games. However, I wanted something more. After theorizing, I figured I wanted to make at least 4 unique reset tiers, meaning the game would take a long time to fully complete while also achieving a level of content that would not be impossible for me to complete alone. Now, I was finally able to start making these aspects of the game, and oh boy, I made them. Multiple reset tiers? Check. Questionably balanced upgrades? Oh, definitely. Mysteries? Yeah, maybe. But with all of the accomplishments, bugs followed. From the game refusing to open for new players, to mysterious bugs that only the eldritch god of programming would be able to figure out why, this game had them all. Most bugs I fixed, but a select few I just shoved under a rug. I mean, nobody will really notice, right? And that brings us to the present, or I guess whenever I release this video. Even though the game is complete, I would have liked to make the game longer. To be completely honest, due to schedule issues, my friend was only able to help with the game up until I had coded the lock into the game. This meant that everything past the very basic systems of the game, like generating money, had to be done entirely by me. Even with the loss of manpower, I feel I was able to create a decent little project, maybe not what I hoped it could be, but hey, that's life. This game is not the best by idle game standards. However, I had to learn almost everything about this game as I was making it. With the end of this project, a new one will follow. I already have plans for the next game I will be making, although no promises for how long this one will take. I hope a month, but it may be less or maybe more depending on how far I want to go. But just because this project is finished does not mean that I'm entirely done with it. For those who like finding secrets, this game definitely has a few. Although, these secrets will not really be that useful, at least for now. But that brings us to the conclusion of the video, where I'm supposed to ask you to subscribe or whatever, but I mean, I believe you would have subscribed already if you are interested in where I may go next. Download for this game and my Discord are in the description, of course. And I hate self-promoting, but join my Discord server for early access to some future projects of mine if you're interested. And now, for those who stuck around to the end, I thank you, because I still have one last thing to say. Make sure you're paying attention, as I'm only gonna say this one time. You smell. So you see how there's a bit of bloom effect going on here? It's not that noticeable, but it is there, as well as some other, like, subtle effects that are going on. Combined with this, like, trail around the mouse that happens whenever you move your mouse. This took me 2 hours. This legitimately took me 2 hours to make this trail for the mouse and to make everything look slightly glowy. Why is coding so hard?